Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special edition because I didn't do anything this past weekend morning. So I'm calling this one Night of the Curse, live with Nighthawk. So you're going to be live with me tonight for a little bit, and we're going to talk about the whole curse pandemic thing that's going on right now. So before we get into all the curses and stuff and a lot of the weird stuff that's going on in the world, we're going to do the copyright disclaimer, which is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use, which is the Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk High Strange's podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, entertainment value, and let's not forget just general knowledge only, under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. We also use the UCut video editing app for all of our intro and outro needs, which gives us full permission and rights to use all the music that is thereon. So, that being said, not necessarily all the claims that this channel may have are necessarily the claims or the beliefs of myself or any other host. Okay. So, just putting that out there as, because, some people are going to get mad about this podcast. I'm telling you. Okay. Now, let me adjust my camera here. Okay. Let me go over to the comment section here and say hello to a few people. See, we got a couple people in the chat already. Corey, good to see you. David, let's see who else. We got Vicky, Heifer, good to see you. Griff, good to see you. Let's see, David Muchetti, good to see you. Ray, good to see you. Tanya, good to see you. Ann, good to see you. Let's see, who else we got? I don't see anybody else in there, but I'm sure if they come in, everybody in the chat will introduce themselves and say hello. Um, I wanted to cover this briefly tonight because a lot of the weird stuff that has been going on in our total, world and everything that's going on. I gotta fix this camera. It's way too screwed up. There we go. That's better. Anyways, I've been down and out lately, real sick this last weekend, and I've been doing a lot of contemplating, thinking on a lot of the stuff. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. A lot of the stuff that's been happening nowadays. Um, we've covered so many topics on this channel that and we did cover curses a couple times, I believe, in the previous years. But we have to come to an understanding that although there are multiple religions around the world, okay, I don't even want to count how many because I wouldn't even probably be able to count that high right now. But the fact of the matter is that all the negativity and bickering back and forth from which religion is the chosen religion and the best religion and who is the God and who is not the God, um, it's all a ruse. I want to say it's, how do I want to say this without, I don't want to offend anybody. Okay. You know how they have this theory about the Catholic Church and everything, and how the Catholic Church, when it came to Constantine, he wanted to curse the world with the one world religion, and he wanted it to be under Roman control, like the old Roman Empire that supposedly had fallen. Well, it didn't fall. It just changed shape and moved a little bit. Okay. So, and that was almost succeeded. I mean, a good portion of the world population are Catholic. So, and I I can't fault anybody for being Catholic. Okay, it's a beautiful religion, like most all the religions. Okay, um, so I'm not going to get on anybody for being Catholic, no more than I'm going to get on anybody for being Wiccan or for being Christian or Muslim. You know, it doesn't matter to me. It didn't matter to Jesus, and it didn't matter to me then. Okay, so let's just put that out there. Ida, good to see you. Um, and you know, I'm kind of laid back on that whole religious theory, anyways. I am a firm believer that what's happening is a worldwide curse. Now, let me tell you, several, well, probably about a year now ago, I disclosed that when I was into the dark Native American arts, that we regularly did curses on certain lands and certain areas of the country that were taken from our people. And with the deforestation that was going on in the time, and the killing of native people from the past, all this anger and hatred built up into a lot of us. Caleb, good to see you. And Roxanne, good to see you. um a lot of that anger came to the top. Okay, and when we did the dark ceremonies, um we would give the flesh offerings, and we would bleed for the ceremonies, and we would try our best to manifest things to come about. Things, and when I call things, I mean things like the dog man, things like little people, the pugwudgie. You know, there's so many different beings and entities that can formulate out there, because there's multiple trickster spirits that will jump at the opportunity given to them, to native medicine people, whether it's dark magic or white magic. Okay, it doesn't matter to them. If they induce them into coming into this world, then the door is open. Okay, now let me move my coffee mug. My whole purpose of lining that up is, you all have heard me state before that I have done these ceremonies, these hexes, these spells, these spell castings, these ceremonies of drawing my blood and my flesh and doing transformations. Okay. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you so much, Caleb. That means a lot, brother. God bless you, man. God bless you. You have no idea how much that helps, Caleb. Just so you know, bro. No idea. Um, I just completely forgot. Urso, good to see you. I completely forgot my what I was saying. That just blew my mind. Thank you, Caleb. Um, anyways, yeah, Muchetti, I know I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you do. And Caleb, I'm sure you do too, bro. I'm sure. And if Juno's in there, I'm sure he knows. There's certain things that we have done that have compounded on top of other things, other negative things. And at one time I had this theory that the reason everything is happening the way it is in the world right now over the last several years is because of this quantum entanglement theory. And that theory is still a viable theory. And I'm not saying that's not happening. Okay, I'm saying that there's something more on top of that to make it more acerbated, exaggerated, intensified. Okay, there's something more to it, and I'm sure Corey knows what I'm talking about because Corey's in the chat. So, in order for that to intensify, we have to open up portals or doorways when we pray. Okay, and with all the multiple probably thousands of different religions around the world, because when you take the indigenous cultures around the world, there probably are thousands of religions around the world. Um, Not just the mainstream religions, but often with my religious studies that I do, and I do study religion on a regular basis. I mean, I get screamed at by people for being on either the computer or a tablet or something doing research and stuff. And the one thing that I found that basically encompasses my thought on the worldwide curse and having it all culminate together with whatever entanglements going on, the one religion that I found that actually encompasses all those ideas together is Gnosticism. Okay, is the Gnostic religion. Okay, it is the religion of believing that there is a heavenly Father, a heavenly Spirit, a host, you know, whether it's a being or just an energy. There is that main belief that there is one God and one true God. Okay, just like Jesus and God. Okay, but they go one level. Okay, a little farther than that. Their theory is that this world that we live in, although it was said to be brought forth in a good way from the Creator God, it was a ruse, that it was done by a lesser God. Now, we've heard this before previously, and you know where I'm going with this, okay? We've heard it with the Anunnaki. Okay, we've heard it with the Anunnaki. Tanya, good to see you. Thank you for that, Tanya. Thank you very much. We heard it with the Anunnaki, and we see it kind of connecting with the Gnostic belief and the Native American belief. Because see, in the Native American belief too, and a lot of them, there was a darker force that created the world. Okay, but the light that was given within humanity, mankind, when mankind was brought forth, was the light of the world. In other words, the good God that created it, the God. Okay. In Lakota religious belief, it's Inyan. Inyan was everything, and he created the world. And we have Wankantanka, the Great Spirit, that is basically part of us. Okay. Now, that same thing. Yes, thank you for that, Roxanne. Please like and share and subscribe. And at the end of this, I'm going to be giving away a little something to say thank you for us reaching 1,000 subscribers, by the way. So just so you know. But to take this one level further, when we're dealing with multiple religions, you're dealing with multiple gods. Now, I'm not saying the God. I'm saying lesser gods. Call them demigods if you may. Okay. And in every culture around the world, you have your demigods. Whether it's Zeus is the main god, whether it's Hercules, even in the Bible you had Samson, and several others. There is so many places we can make these connections. Okay, so we get that, but then you have all these religions that are praying to these different gods, and we don't really have a concept or an idea of what. Oh, thank you, Vicky, for that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's because of everybody in the chat and everybody that watches the podcast. It's amazing, and I just, I want to say thank you. So, but when you pray to multiple gods, which we're not supposed to, and it's a hard thing to comprehend, trying to figure out who the ultimate creator is, who the ultimate God, the Father is. And it can be called, I call him Yahuwah. Um, I call the one that some religions call Satan, Lucifer, and all that. I go one step further. I call him the demiurge because that's what the Gnostic call him. Okay. And he was supposed to be a snake reptilian type of a being, okay, with a lion's head. And it actually fits the concept of, hey, AO, good to see you. Um, it actually fits the concept of the old Quetzalcoatl and the Aztecs and the Mayans creator gods. Okay. So I delve into that and I started thinking, well, if we're praying to all these multiple gods through all these separate religions around the world and all these beliefs, what's the odds on the one true creator that has been hidden from us for so long making a curse on the world? Okay. And I started thinking about that. And then I said, well, if it's a true creator God, and as it says, like in a lot of the tablets and stuff that I've read, the scriptures and stuff, um, if it's a true God, he's not going to curse his children. He's going to try to give signs for his children to see and come back to him. Okay, he's going to try and guide them back. But you got to understand when you're dealing with something like the demiurge or Satan or whatever you want to call them, tricksters, galore, you're dealing with something that has such a grip on our world right now that you can't really believe everything that you're seeing and hearing. Okay, it's almost gotten to the point where it's ludicrous to even remotely think that there is not something supernatural going on. Okay, there is, how do I want to say this? There is several different ways we can approach this. And I am, for one, I'm not going to say any one religion is the way to go. Okay, I will say just stand by your faith, like I've always said. Stand strong in it and don't show fear. No matter what, don't show fear. Fear is a door opener, it's a portal opener, it's a gateway opener. Okay, those negative beings out there will take advantage of your fear and they will manifest themselves. Okay, like take for instance, when I talked last Friday with Eric on the channel, I talked a little bit about the stars coming down in Peru and Argentina, and the local people seeing these stars coming down, and they transform into a human form, a giant human form, and they threaten the people to do something for them, and then they go back up. Okay, now to me that is, we have good angels and we have bad angels, we know that. Okay, and there is a reason for almost over almost a little over 900,000 miles of internet cables being put through the waters of the oceans to other countries to connect the world together. Okay, kind of like a spider's web, if we say, which, by the way, Sitting Bull had the vision of the world coming to an end after it was encompassed within a web. Well, a world wide web is what we have. So that part of a prophecy is coming true. Okay. Now, how do we deal with curses? Okay, we cleanse, we purify, we manifest good things to come out of hexes and curses. Okay, that's how we do it. All right. Um, you can do it with your faith in your religion. You can do it by blessing property, blessing selves, blessing family members, having clergymen come and bless the house and property and yourselves and all that. There's ways to break curses. Okay. There's also certain minerals that you can carry, and I'm sure several people in the chat, Corey, I'm sure you can enlighten some people in the chat with that too. That there are certain crystals and stuff that you can carry and wear. I, for one, I wear shungite. Shungite is a very powerful um, gemstone that comes from Russia, and it's supposed to block EMF, electromagnetic frequency. Okay, which means if I'm wearing it, the electrical pulses coming from the laptop that's in front of me, or coming from the camera or my cell phone, or even the coffee maker, if it's on, those pulses won't come to me. They'll be repelled because of that shungite that I'm wearing, or they'll at least be deadened down to a level that it will be acceptable for my body to take. Okay. So that being said, shungite is a good one. Any type of quartz is a good one to have. Um, there's so many of them. There, if you want to attract positivity in your life and love in your life, it's turquoise. Amethyst is a good protector. So I mean, there's several different ones out there. I'm sure everybody can just share it in the chat, talk amongst themselves about it. But Demaria, good to see you. I Yeah, I believe that the prayers are a big part of it, Roxanne. But a lot of the time in the past, a lot of the time with when you're dealing with negative people, negative spiritual beliefs, you're dealing with such a malevolent energy that it grows. The manifestation grows and grows and grows. Even if you're not trying to manifest a certain thing that you did in your past, you still have that in your past. You know what I mean? So you can possibly add to it. And I think that's what's happening. I think what we have here is a worldwide supernatural curse that has been energized from all the negativity, all the wars, and all the so-called plagues and stuff. And you know, when you're dealing with stuff like this, and I'm going to put a couple things up on a screen I want you guys to see. Okay, here is something that I found interesting. Okay, Van, good to see you in here too. These are earthquakes. Okay, and look at the cluster of them. Okay, and yeah, some of them are like only 2 point something, but that's a lot in one area. Okay, then you think about stuff like this that you see in the news. Earth's magnetic field is collapsing, power outages all around the world. Okay, look at the massive flooding that they're having in Mexico. Okay, they're having massive flooding in Mexico. Okay, they're having massive earthquakes all around the world. How about these power outages? Spain, Portugal, and France. And radiation bleaching through the atmosphere on top of it. Okay, we're talking, but this is such a worldwide event that it has to be astrolated or increased because of a worldwide curse. Something is causing supernatural forces to influence the natural geological structure of our world. I'm surprised I got that out in one sentence. Wow. Another one. How many of you know about all the volcanoes that are going off around the world? You know, I mean, think about it. 79 active volcanoes all at once. 79. That's unheard of. I mean, that is just, I mean, look at the ring of fire along the South America and Mexican coastline up into parts of, well, how about what is that? Mount, oh, I can't remember the name of the mountain there in Alaska that's getting ready to erupt any day now. Um, but yeah, there's the one up in that's not even on there actually. I don't think so. Or no, it is. It is. It's up there in the yellow. Okay. Anyways, yeah, 79 of them. It's unheard of. Okay. All the earthquakes that are happening. Okay. All the earthquakes that have happened. Turkey's been getting hammered lately. Okay. All the droughts. Think about all the droughts and then all the flooding on top of all the droughts. What's up with that? Things are definitely getting to a point where supernatural forces are involved. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that it's our fault. Okay, but we do have something to do with it. Okay, because we are part of the conduit to the creator. Okay, we are. All right. And this is just, it's been eating at my gut for the last several days. And that's why I wanted to come on tonight. When we pray, I think that we need to do more of what the indigenous cultures do, like my people do. We will visualize the prayer. We will. It's like I told David and Melissa and several others in the chat know me for years. How I tell you that when you go out bigfooting, you go out, you take your socks and your shoes off before you go in the woods, and just curl your toes up and the feet up into the dirt and the soil and the grass and the leaves or whatever, and feel that connection. Then put your socks and your shoes back on, walk over to a tree and just put your hand on a tree and close your eyes. You put your hand on the tree and you close your eyes and you're going to feel that tree's heartbeat. Okay. That is going to make you have more of a connection with finding a cryptid creature out in the middle of nowhere than banging a wooden stick on the side of a tree. I'm sorry, guys. That's the truth of it. Okay. It's the truth of it. All right. I've never been a big proponent of going out and putting, party lights and strobe lights up to attract it. I've never been a big one for going out and cooking bacon up in the middle of nowhere and trying to attract them. I've never been, what I've always done and what I've always believed works best is you make that initial connection. That connection that has been separated from humanity and the earth. Okay. And when you ground yourself in that manner and you make that connection to the environment, you're going to have an encounter. Okay. But it may not be the cryptid encounter you expect. Okay. Let's put that out there too on a broad spectrum. You may not see Bigfoot. Hell, you may not see the dog man. But you will experience something. And God forbid you experience Spearfinger or the smoke wolves or, lizard man or, the little people, I mean, there's a lot more out there. Okay. And there's reports of insectoids even out there now. More of them being the tall, praying mantis looking type. Okay. And of course we have, the reptilians. So I mean, there's so many things out there. You got Goat Man, who is, I believe, is more supernatural than he is a cryptid. You got Mothman, who I believe is supernatural, not cryptid. You got the Wendigo and Skinwalkers, and they are definitely more supernatural than cryptid. Um, but you have all these other things and legends out there, like the Jersey Devil and stuff like that you could experience. Um, the Snallygasters in West Virginia, that's a big one. Um, you go up on top of some of the highest peaks in West Virginia, and you start messing around and come across a nest of eggs that you don't know what they are, but they're the size of an ostrich egg. You ought to just leave the area. Okay. Plain and simple. Take a picture if you want, but don't touch the eggs. That's how you come up missing. And they will get you from the sky. They will. All you got to do is get out into an opening for a split second, and they're on you. And you're going to be taken just like a big eagle would pick up a fish out of the lake and fly away. Okay. Which I believe could be part of the missing people problem right now. Um, but yeah, there's ways to regain and kind of centralize a lot of the negativity and to make it regress, to push it away. And that's by accepting our shortcomings, our faults that we have done to the environment, to the world. Okay, and I'm not saying it's all the green energy crap. No, I don't personally believe in global warming. Okay, and I'm Native American. Imagine that. I don't believe in global warming. Wow, I don't. There's always been ice ages. There's always been deep, heated, thaws after ice ages. There's been water in history flooding. There's been water recessing in history. There's always been something violent going on in the world. But the fact of the matter is today, at this frame in time in our lives, the whole world is being twisted and torn apart. Okay? Think of it like taking your energy. Like I've always said for everybody, take your energy and you can put your hands together like this, and you close your eyes, and you can just picture in your mind an orange glowing ball between your hands like the sun, and just picture it getting brighter and brighter and hotter, and you start to feel and generate that energy. That is just the beginning of what we can do. Okay. So when we pray, if we take that same principle when we pray, we can manifest anything. We have that ability within us. Okay. And hold on. Somebody's trying to talk into this ear and I can't hear them completely. Sorry. That was spirit trying to talk into my ear. I couldn't make out what it was saying though. See, that's another thing too. A lot of people wonder why Native Americans go around having their ear pierced. Okay. I have mine pierced. Yes, I do. Um, it helps us to hear better. It's kind of like, how do I want to say this? It's kind of like putting a satellite dish on your ear and getting the ESPN channel. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that type of a feeling. All right, whenever you get your ear pierced, and and you're in a warrior status, and yeah, it's kind of like that. So you hear all kinds of good things and bad things. So that being said, let me go to the chat here, and I'm going to put something up, and I want you all to take a look at this. And I did my research on this, okay? I did a reverse image search on this, and I found out that this is a legitimate picture, okay, that I'm going to post up right now. All right. And I want you to think about this. If there is this out there, what else do we not know? Okay. Now, my personal beliefs with this photograph I'm going to post. How many of you remember when Roswell happened in 1947 that they said when they recovered the three bodies, they were the three bodies of children that were genetically altered, okay, to look like aliens, okay, because of some Russian conspiracy-driven experiment to psych out American people, I guess, just keep that in mind when you look at this picture. I'm going to put this up and I'm going to get a drink of coffee and we're going to talk about this because this is just one fascinating picture and it's 100% legit. I've already researched it. So what do you think about that? That is 100% legit. Completely legit. Okay, now this person says that they found it in their grandfather's nightstand. Okay, and that their grandfather was with the military. Okay, at Wright-Patt. Now, Wright-Patterson is where the bodies from the 1947 crash were taken to. They were held at Roswell's Naval Air Station for a brief period of time and then transported via truck or plane to Wright-Patterson. So I double checked it and triple checked it and all that, and everything adds up that these are legitimate pictures. But are they pictures of an alien? To me, I'm saying no. I don't believe it's an alien. Now, I believe that it is obviously some kind of a humanoid figure, but and they were said to be 3 feet tall. Okay. There are so many depictions of little people. Okay. But this actually looks like it might be surgically manipulation, surgical manipulation. Okay. And the reason I say that is because of the structures and the scar tissue around the face. Okay. And the way the ears just seem to be chopped off a little bit, and the structure of the jawline and all that, to me, it's not an alien. To me, it was somebody, probably a child that was manipulated by surgery. And that's sick and sad. It really is. But that's just one of the many things that we are faced with to try and figure out. Okay. Curses. Now, if this was my child, and my child was taken from me, and I was an indigenous person in Russia, and say Russian forces took my child and did that to my child, and my child became unalive because of them, do you think I'd make a curse? Hell yeah. I'd curse every last one of the humans in the world. I would hate so much that I would curse everything and everybody. Okay? We got to keep that in mind. Think about all the killing that's going on. Okay? Curses are a real thing. And if you get all those curses all at once, it's like turning the supernatural dial from a 5 to a plus 12. And I do believe that that's what's going on. Okay? Between that and governments taking advantage of the manipulation factor of what's going on and the intimidation factor of what's going on, You know, it's just it's ludicrous to think that the supernatural doesn't have anything to do with it. It's like I've always said, not everything is a cryptid. Okay, not everything is flesh and blood. Yes, the majority of them are flesh and blood, but every now and then when you have that thing coming at you with those red glowing eyes, and I mean, we're not talking like just glowing like regular eye shine, I'm talking like flashlights, okay, coming at you. When it's that kind of a glow, you're dealing with the supernatural. If it's red, orange, or some other color other than green or yellow, you're dealing with something that is not supposed to be here. Okay. And you're dealing with probably more of a malevolent type of a being that is just like in Argentina and Peru that they talk about, coming down from the stars coming down and transforming into giants, and those giants demanding something of the people, and then they go back up. And if they don't get what they demand, the people disappear. That sounds awful malevolent and angelic to me. So I'm just saying, okay? Prayers and faith, people. That's what it's going to take. Prayers and faith. Faith is literally everything. Don't trust, and it takes a lot for me to say this, okay? Don't trust everything that you see. Okay? Don't trust everything that you hear. If you see things and hear things that are out of the strange or out of the ordinary, don't respond to it. Don't be triggered by it. Ignore it. It's best to turn away and just say whatever prayer silently you're saying and leave it be. Because as soon as you interact with it, you are empowering that thing to interact back with you. Does that make sense? I mean, I hope it makes sense to everybody. Um, I'm starting to get a little hoarse right now. Anyways, it's like I've always said, if you hear whistling at night, don't whistle. Don't whistle back. Don't respond. If you hear your name called and it sounds like a relative and you know that relative's not with you, don't respond. Okay? Don't call back. Ignore it. Say your prayer. Stand in your faith. Turn and walk away. Okay? Because those are trickster demons. Those are the ones that come down and they mimic. And they're also called tree peepers. They're also called shadow beings. They're also called mimics. You know, they are the ones that transform into anything that they can think of to frighten humanity. Okay, plain and simple. Now, those beings that have that ability to transform into anything have been known as demons, archons, and angels. Because remember, not every angel is going to be a good angel. Okay? Not every angel is going to have humanity's best interest. Okay? So you have to discern the difference. And usually when you have more of an angelic encounter, it'd be like the one George Washington had at Fort Valley. Okay? Valley Forge, during the winter, the harsh winter, and he had this angelic encounter. A lot of people say it was an alien encounter. It very well could have been, pretty much a horse apiece as far as I'm concerned. Because especially when you're dealing with something like the Anunnaki, I could see how the Anunnaki could be misconstrued as an angel, as an angelic being with the wings and everything. Yeah, I could see it. I can believe that could be possibly a screw, to cause people to think that they're an angel. Anybody can portray themselves, but the real ones are going to come down and want to protect humanity. Okay, the true angels. Okay, and that's what's happening now. What you're seeing in the sky is you're seeing a war going on that we haven't seen ever. And it's been going on for thousands of years above our heads, and we didn't even know it. It all goes back to what the humans can actually perceive in the spectrum, the visual spectrum. It's that 0.0035%, folks. Not even a half of a half of a percent. Just think what's going on if we could see it. Okay. Well, that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. Remember, Google is evil. Evil. Google, bad. Bad Google. Facebook, bad. Well, Facebook can be good. It's just a certain person that's kind of bad. Okay. Naming no names, Mark. Anyways, like, heart, and share this out. And beware the World Economic Forum. And beware the demons in plain sight. And you'll notice them, trust me. You will notice them. Everybody, in the chat, thank you. I wish I could have talked more to everybody in the chat, but I'm getting really hoarse. Lauren, good to see you. Carl, good to see you. Candy, good to see you. Celia, good to see you. Camo Dad, good to see you. Joanne, good to see you. Daryl, good to see you. All right, let me see. I'm going to say hello to everybody, at least I hope so. Give me a second. Red Tip Savage, good to see you. There's my brother Caleb. Dead Wolf, good to see you. All right, let's see. I think that's everybody. Lauren, I said. Joanne, Carl, Demaria, I said. Vicky, Daryl, Disheffer. Yep, I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But right now, I'm going to ask one question. And let me get back to the comments here. And the latest comment. Before everybody leaves, I know I've got the lights out, but I'm going to turn the lights on very briefly. I got a massive headache. That's why the lights are out. I am giving away, and Ray, you probably won't want this. I am giving away, let me get this picture off of here. Come on, get off of there. There we go. I am giving away a nice beanie, brand new beanie, never worn. Look at that, never worn. Perfect. And it's got the 3 gray or green green aliens. They're supposed to be gray, but they're green. I'm giving this away. It's a brand new beanie hat with 3 aliens on it. If anyone can tell me what I call the evil being that is controlling this world. And remember, there's several different words for him. But what do I call him? What did I call him in the beginning? It's a 2 Do I, Carl? No, I don't, bro. That's funny. Oh my God. I love you, brother. That's funny. I think I needed that. Demiurge, good. Lauren, good. That's it. She got it right away. Demiurge. Lauren, you need to send me your mailing address. Okay. And I will mail this hat out to you. I'll put my email address in the chat. So, Lauren, you can send it to my email, or you could message me on Messenger, whatever you want to do. And I will get that off to you. My email is now in the chat. Lauren was the first one. This heifer, I'll tell you what, this heifer, just send me a mailing address and I'll send you a second prize, okay? So both of you, Lauren, just send me your mailing address. I'll mail that out to you and some stickers and stuff. And then this heifer, send me your mailing address too to my email. And I'll send you some stickers and stuff and some else, okay? So I want to thank everybody. Okay, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Caleb, and just everybody that is here tonight. Thank you to Urso and Roxanne and Corey and everybody, Camo Dad, Celia, Dead Wolf. You know, you guys, everybody, you're all family. You know, this is why we do these things. This is why I try to do things to help. Strictly advice on this one. But yeah, just keep your heads on a swivel. Watch your six. Right, Camo? Watch your six and keep your faith and don't show any fear. Do not show any fear. You have nothing to be afraid of. Okay? So remember that. Okay? Lauren and Deceiver, send me your mailing address and get those out to you. Okay? LakotaMan333@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Like, heart, and share this out. And I will see you all hopefully Friday night for Into the Red Rabbit Hole. Take care, everybody.